I tried 6 of the most popular self-tanners and this is what I found. Hello, it is Morgan. I've been self-tanning for a few years now and I wanted to make it my mission to try a bunch of different brands and ultimately find my favorite. So I have my bottom 3 kind of in no particular order and then I have my top 3 ranked. Let's start. All of these were self-tanning mousses, not lotions, not drops, with a mitt and all of that. First one in no order of my bottom 3 is a very beginner friendly one. First one I ever tried and that is the ever so drugstore famous Jergens. The Jergens self-tanning mousse runs for about $14 from what I found and they do have 2 shades. This is a more warmer toned self-tanner as opposed to an olivey tone is what I found. It blends fine, it fades fine, nothing really outstanding, but it didn't look terrible. I did repurchase this once before I went and explored other brands when I was still learning. However, it doesn't last very long. This definitely lasts the least amount of time compared to all the other ones. They do have a lotion that I used to use on my legs that I do really like. The self-tanner's not bad. I would say it's a good, just kind of one to try out if you are learning, but it's just like overall, like that's my opinion. It's just and like in a self-tanner, something that can be very noticeable about you, I don't want it just to be I want it to be that looks great, that looks natural, that looks real. I have tried their face lotion once before too and I do like it. I just don't use it or repurchase it because I do prefer to use my own specific face lotion for like a moisturizer and all my skincare. The next one I tried from Ulta is St. Moriz. This runs about $14 and it does have 2 shades. This color was good. Oh, it's kind of like more olivey. I like that. Here's the comparison. I feel like it looks pretty good. Like the color is like not orangey. It lasted kind of like an average amount of time. However, I found this one was actually pretty hard to blend out. I felt like I would kind of wipe it on and then I wouldn't be able to like move that streak very well. It didn't blend. I went through the bottle and I didn't repurchase it for that reason. It's definitely less blendable, the St. Moriz, and I just felt like I would put it on my leg and it wouldn't move. I was able to coat my whole body, but I think the fact that it didn't blend made me use a lot of product and go through it very fast. And then I felt like I was over applying, so it was kind of a nerve-wracking thing to be like, okay, is this going to be really dark in some areas? It just wasn't good at blending. From what I remember, I think it faded fine. It was just average. And I did try their face drops as well to put in your moisturizer because they have it and they were good, but it was nothing I wanted to repurchase. I also used the St. Moriz bronzing drops and it was really liquidy. When you dropped it out of the bottle, I felt like it seeped through my hands and I was never sure I was like spreading the tan far enough. So overall, this one was like not very good in my opinion. Next up, Tanologist. Tanologist is very popular for their drops, but I tried their mousse, which is called their tan water. So not their drops. This is strictly a review on their mousse. Their mousse runs for $20 on Ulta and they do have 3 shades. I believe I tried the middle shade. It definitely had a warmer color tone. It wasn't very olivey. It was more similar to the Jergens, but this was so hard to use. It wasn't like not blendable like the St. Moriz. However, because it's clear, it goes on clear, it's a clear self-tanner. I thought it was so hard to use, not user-friendly at all, because if you think about it, while you're self-tanning, say I cover my arm, but like I'm not sure exactly where I covered my arm, because it's clear, like you can't see. You know, I like when self-tanners have at least somewhat of a color because as you apply, you can clearly see where you've applied so you don't go over the same spot a million times. The last self-tanner I had was a clear one and I did not like it because you could not see where you applied. Like now, I can see it clearly. But with the clear mousse, I just had like patches everywhere. You know, you apply it, but then you can't see. Like, did I do my left calf? I don't know. For that, I was super turned off by this. Will not repurchase this at all. It was just not user-friendly. I don't care if you're a beginner or if you're a pro, it's not easy to use. I understand that the color develops so that it doesn't transfer onto clothes. That's fine, but I do have other self-tanners that are easier to use. The color shows up, that it still doesn't transfer to clothes. So although it might like help that problem, it was a hard application and not my favorite. It faded fine from what I could tell, and its durability, how long it lasted, I honestly feel like I applied it and I don't remember seeing it come off, which I guess could be a good thing, but also maybe not a good thing because one, was the color dark enough on me or did it just match my skin tone? Or two, was it just really good and it faded really even? It was just fine. I do remember, however, once applying it on top of old self-tanner and it looked really bad, but that was probably my own fault. Those are my bottom three, my least favorite of the 6 that I have tried, but they are very well-known brands. brands. Moving on, these next ones are ranked. Coming in at third place, this may be surprising, this may be a shocker, is Loving Tan. I wanted to love Loving Tan so much more than I did. It's a great self tanner. Do not get me wrong, it's a great self tanner. It ranges about $40 to $65 depending on the size you get and the kind you get, because they have an express, a deluxe, and they have a platinum version. So the price range does vary. This is a more pricier self tanner, as are the other two. And there are 3 shades. What I loved about this is the color tone. It had the most beautiful olivey color. It was very good color. Blended great. I'm liking the shade. I really like the shade. It blends so nice. It doesn't have like a bad or like super strong smell or anything. Just showered my tan off. It looks so much better compared to the moment I woke up this morning. Everything like really honestly looks pretty good, and I would definitely use this tanner again. And it does fade really well, which is a great aspect. I didn't feel like I got very blotchy towards the end or anything. Overall, I do really like the self tanner, and I do believe you're getting a really good tanner for the price. Like it's expensive, but it's also good, right? You get what you pay for, you know? The reason it's in third place is because this is actually the only self tanner that did transfer to my clothes. I don't know why, but it's like the only one that I took my clothes off and there was self tanner on the insides of them. And I was actually really upset by it because I was like, okay, this is a nice, expensive self tanner. I would never expect it to do this. So that's the reason it's in third place. Overall, great, but I had transferring. This is just from my experience. Okay, don't get mad at me, but next, I kind of think it's a tie. I kind of think it's a tie between St. Tropez and Coco and Eve. Let me tell you why. I love both of them. Love both of them. Coco and Eve is more affordable. It's $35. It does have 3 shades. The color is great. Great color tones, not too orangey. It's very good. The blending is really great. I felt like it faded really nice as well. The one thing that I loved about this self tanner though is it smelled so good. Like it smelled like s'mores, like marshmallow. I don't even know. It smelled so good. First thoughts, that's definitely the best smelling and the most blendable self tanner I used. Definitely feel like I have some nice color. I'm liking how it's turning out. It feels very even. Like I don't feel streaky, which is very nice. I'm feeling great about this color. Look at that. All the other self tanners, like they had a scent, but like it smelled like self tanner, right? Like nothing like terrible, but it was fine, right? Coco and Eve's smells so good. I don't know what it is about it, but it just smells so good. Application was great. Like this overall was just like user friendly, great application, great fading, like just everything was good. It checked all the boxes, and then you add a great smell on top of it. Like I liked to wear it. I didn't like dread going to bed with a smell and waking up with this smell. Like it was good. It was a good experience. I already like feel like I'm sitting well in the Coco and Eve tanner. Like sometimes when you self tan, you get dressed and then like 10 minutes later you just like sit with like an ick. Like I don't feel that way. I don't know, I just like feel like I like it so far. It literally smells so good. And I do like Coco and Eve as a brand. I've tried other products of theirs. I have tried their face drops that you put in the moisturizer and put it on your face. I still use those today, and I do like those. This is a repurchase for sure. And then St. Tropez. This one, some people call it St. Tropez. I don't know. This one ranges from $18 to $44 depending on the kind you get and the size you get. Of course, they have a couple different kinds. They only have 1 shade, however, in their classic mousse, which I was honestly confused by. I didn't like, I thought that I had something wrong, but I'm pretty sure they only have 1 shade. So that's kind of unfortunate. They do have a couple different types of mousses, just like Loving Tan. You know, they have a faster working one, they have their classic, or they have their deluxe whipped mousse type one. This one, the consistency was so good. I don't know, when I first tried it, I was like, whoa, like this is really light. And light in a good way. It felt light going on the glove. It felt very light in the application. I still felt like I was getting a good amount of product on my body. It blended out so nice. It faded so well. Like I don't even really remember the tan coming off because it was a very even fade. It also lasted very long. The Coco and Eve did as well. The color looks nice. Oh, it's very light. The smell, totally fine. The color, great. It's definitely very lightweight, and I feel like I'm not sure how to describe it. Like, it goes on and it just feels very light compared to a lot of other ones. Not like the color is not gonna develop, just like the consistency is light. Like, it's foamy, but it like goes away like gracefully. It blends really nice, and it's just overall a really great self tanner. The only thing that I don't like about it is that it doesn't have more than 1 color, but the 1 shade that they do have, I do like on me. So again, great self tanner tanner overall. Like, it performed great, it lasted, like, I'm very pleased with it. I also tested out their bronzing face mist, which I did really like and I still use right now. That would definitely be a repurchase along with their mousse. Honestly, just love it. Good news, the mist is like very light and very full. It's like a gentle cloud, so I think it does good about like covering your face but not being too harsh. Overall, all around, St. Tropez and Coco Eve are the best performing in all categories, and both are ones that I will be repurchasing along with their face tanning products. I just love them. They are my top two. They have won me over and I'm very happy about it. I've tried a bunch of different brands, so I try to keep note of everything. This was, of course, in the span of a long time because I didn't want to buy all at once and then have some expire, go back, you know, whatever. So I just tried a new brand every time I went to the store, and this is my findings. Currently, I am using the St. Tropez, and next we are going to get into my little self-tanning routine with it. Let's go. The self-tan prep is important, so before I even think about putting anything on my body, first I want to make sure all of my old self-tanner is gone. More recently, I learned you can use baby oil for this, so if you kind of just like rub baby oil all over your body or concentrate it on like the areas that you think is still like splotchy, like maybe around your hands, your wrists, knees, whatever, rub it in and kind of like let it soak for a little bit and then wash it off. It should take off any good self-tanner. And then of course the shower before I self-tan, I will go in and exfoliate. Sometimes I use like some sort of sugar scrub. I love the Tree Hut ones, but right now I'm just gonna use this little mitt because I don't have a scrub on me. This is from Coco Eve. It's just like these nice little silicone bristles. It's like gentle but still good. So I'll go in and exfoliate my entire body, and I will shave too. I'll use whatever shaving cream. I'm not really particular about that. I'm gonna go work out and then come back and do all of that in the shower. BRB. Out of the shower, fresh, clean, shaved, exfoliated. First things first, I always tan in front of a mirror so I can look at myself in the mirror and like in person. So I make sure that I'm covering every ground. If you can, get in front of a mirror. Next, yes, I do actually lotion specific areas. When I first started out self-tanning, I was like, oh, I don't need to do that. And then it was just bad news. I'll put some lotion on my hands and kind of rub it in and then distribute as necessary. I always start with a little because remember, you can always add more. It's hard to take away, right? So I'll always put some on my feet and my ankles, especially my ankles. I feel like my ankles are just a hub for patches and streaks and all the bad things. And I will do a little on my knees as well as my hands. Notice how I'm wearing a big black t-shirt and then a black spa headband. Definitely wear dark colors because you never know if it could transfer. I've had good luck where most of my self-tanners haven't transferred, but I did have that one time. So just always wear dark colors and things that maybe you don't care a ton about. Grab your mitt. I have two that I really like. This is just from Amazon and this is from Coco and Eve. Both are great. I'm gonna use my Coco and Eve one today because I think it's cleaner. And then I'll always shake up my self-tanner. And personally, I like to start from the bottom up. So I'll do like part of my left and part of my right, and then part of my left and part of my right, and try not to miss anything. So like left calf, left thigh, right thigh. Whenever possible, I will use my dominant hand with the mitt, but sometimes you just have to switch. I will always start with a generous amount on the mitt as well, so like 3 pumps, why not? Because you can always blend it, especially if you're using a good self-tanner. And I always just move in circular motions and kind of try to blend fast because I don't want anything to get stuck in any areas. I start at my ankle. I don't do feet because I do feet with a brush later. So then, since both sides are done, I'll literally just move up and I'll do like my knee and my thigh next. A few little tips kind of as you work your way up. I kind of like bend appendages and stuff to make sure to get into cracks. For example, I'll kind of like bend forward a little to get like under my butt cheek, because if you don't, there's like a clear lighter line, like people are gonna be like, whoa, like what's that from, you know? Also my elbow, I will like bend my elbow to make sure I get like around it, because if you hold it straight the whole time and you just graze over it, well, your elbow has like cracks, you know? And I've made that mistake where there's like lines next to my actual elbow bone and it's kind of weird. Also the sides of your body, do your best not just to cover the front and the back, but go up the sides, so you know, like get around your armpit, like all of that. I feel like those are commonly missed or neglected areas. And then I will do whatever I can with my mitt. Obviously you can't reach your entire back, but I'll do wherever I can with my mitt with either hand. And then once I get to my back, the best self-tanning invention that I discovered this year, I don't know if it's like a newer thing, I have never seen these before up until months ago, but I got this. So essentially it's the same material as a self-tanning mitt, but you put the tanner in the middle and you tan your back like this. So if you don't have like a friend or someone to help you out, I used to literally put my mitt on something and like tie it and try to go like this, but this is so much better and so much easier. Try your best to get in between your shoulder blades. I know it can be hard. I like to start going like this, and then I'll kind of like round out my back to go like this, and then I will straighten it more on a diagonal, and I will go this way and kind of like move my shoulder blades to fit it as best I can. It does help to have an extra mirror so I can be turned around using this, but also kind of looking like if I need to see everything. Obviously you're like fully naked when you're doing this too, so I usually try to wait a little bit before I put my shirt on, just so I feel like it's fully dry. I almost feel like it never actually feels dry, but I wait a little while and then I will put my shirt on. And then we get to the more delicate areas where you lotioned. I will use a brush for my feet, my ankles, my hands, my knees, whatever, and my face too. So I did all of my skincare prior, and I did a little bit of moisturizer just so my face is a little bit protected, and I will just spray some right on the brush and literally just apply it to my face like foundation. Obviously be very careful with this, especially around your eye area. I do find actually one bad thing is that sometimes my self tanner will actually like almost like stain my acne, like any pimple areas, and I kind of forgot about that until I already went over them. Keep that in mind. Maybe you kind of like go gentle in certain areas, or maybe you just don't even do this on your face at all and you use something like the water mist. Usually when I wash it off, it washes off my face a lot faster than my body, and so I will kind of go in with this throughout the week and re-tan my face. Some people do contour their face with self tanner, so instead of go all over your face, is you can just take some and kind of apply it wherever you would do like bronzer essentially, so kind of the perimeter of your face, and then maybe you do like the spray all over. Just an idea. I thought of that now and I kind of wish I did that, but it's too late. So, but I think that would be a good routine. Kind of do like the contour with the actual mousse on your face, and then throughout the week just apply the water mist to keep your base looking glowy and fresh. And with the hands, really less is more. Make sure like if you're doing this at night, you're done using water, you already brush your teeth, all that stuff, just so you don't have to risk getting your hands wet. But I try to almost like disperse it kind of around my hand a little bit so it doesn't like dry off, and then I'll go and do strokes. Don't forget to go in between, because you will notice if you don't. Just less is more when it comes to hands. For the hands too, I don't really go on the inside. I used to, but that's where it really collects and just gets blotchy and it's not fun to deal with. I'm not gonna show you my feet, but I will kind of like dot it and then like an actual brush stroke after that. Also for your ankles, because they're so bony, just be careful. Like make sure you're really going around them. Be so careful with your ankles. And this might be a no-brainer, but keep in mind where you're standing. If you need to like lay something down on the ground when you're doing your feet so it doesn't get on the actual floor, lay something down, whether it's like an old rag, old t-shirt, paper towel. So I will use this in the morning, but that is everything for my body for now. I am nice and dry. I'm gonna go to bed, wake up, wash it off in the morning, and I will show you the results. See you in the morning. It's the next morning. I just washed off my tan. I feel good. When I'm in the shower and I'm washing it off, I'll usually use a bar of soap just because it's gentle and I don't want to like rub anything off. And then along those same lines, when I get out of the shower, I make sure to just like pat all the areas dry, because again, I don't want to rub anything off. And then it is important, however, to re-moisturize. If your skin is moisturized, the tan is likely to last longer. So out of the shower, I will go and moisturize basically my whole body, but it looks good. I like it a lot. Like I said, they only do have one color though, but I do think it turned out very nice, and I'm a fan of St. Tropez. For the rest of the aftercare, I think it's just really important that you keep your skin moisturized as long as possible until you want to take it off. Throughout the week, next few days, whatever, I will do my skincare as normal, which means the tan will fade a lot quicker on my face, which is fine. I still want to take care of my skin. But that is where the tanning mist comes into play. You can spray this on, literally it says under makeup, over makeup, wherever. You just take it. I'm facing away from the curtain just in case I get any on there, because you never know. 5 to 6 sprays. It comes out super like a cloud. Like it's not a harsh spray, it's very light, and I feel like it covers a lot of ground. It's honestly, the application is a lot easier than I expected. I was a little nervous the first time I tried it, but this will be perfect for the upkeep, and I love it. I think that's my whole routine, all of my tips, everything. Let me know what self tanner you prefer. All my comments at the beginning obviously were from my own personal experiences. You may have had different experiences with different brands. That's totally fine. All of our skin is different. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you in my next one.